My sister is currently 26. She has her Juris Doctorate, practices law in Georgia. She intends to take the New York bar exam in hopes of passing the Universal Bar this year. Hearing this, you wouldn't think that she cared about video games or even had time to play games, right? But she and her childhood physician are the reason I got into gaming. Let me tell you why accessibility is important in the gaming community. When she was 5 or 6, my sister had issues with hand-eye coordination. After a handful of visits, her physician recommended we get a gaming console, specifically a PlayStation. My parents scraped their money together, and through some monetary miracle, we got a PlayStation to help with her coordination. She didn't get too into it at first. We had games mostly like Spyro the Dragon, Crash Bandicoot, and assorted racing games as well. And then came Legend of Dragoon. If you haven't heard about Legend of Dragoon, you're really missing out. It's the first ever fantasy RPG that we were exposed to, and it wasn't until years later that either of us got exposed to or experiencing Final Fantasy. And Legend of Dragoon absolutely blew our minds. My sister loved the story so much and even got so insanely good at the game mechanic that I, almost 18 years later, still can't get the hang of. The battles are turn-based, with each attack being kind of like a rhythm timing game-based sequence. The more accurate your attacks, the stronger the attacks and the better that your character levels. The reason that Legend of Dragoon was such an excellent game for her was because of her disability that affects her motor control and thus her hand-eye coordination. My sister was born with cerebral palsy. She doesn't walk very well without a cane and was given minimal chances at an independent life. She was told that she would never walk, she would never talk. Now she's living on her own, is a lawyer, has a good network surrounding her. She's incredibly successful, especially given her odds at birth. I think that a lot of her growth and physical independence is due in part to her physician recommending that we get a PlayStation. Of course, I would be kidding myself if I didn't claim to have some hand in her growth. Our sibling rivalry, the eternal game of keep away, kept her playing in the end. Nowadays, my sister is legitimately too busy to devote as much time to games. She plays mainly on PC, games like Final Fantasy close at hand, and her friends recently gifted a PSP to her, which she especially enjoys for the close controls to the screen. When she visits again, I intend to get her hooked on my Nintendo Switch, which also has close controls to the screen. Maybe one day get her own console so we can play together again. Accessibility is incredibly important in video games in the gaming community. Not only should we, the more able-bodied part of the community, hope to share these wonderful stories and experiences with everyone we can, but these games can help with rehabilitation, skill development, and symptom reduction. If a simple fantasy role-playing game can help my sister develop good motor control skills and hand-eye coordination, imagine what games actually designed with disabilities in mind can do. If you know somebody with a disability, talk to them. Encourage them to try some video games. See how accessibility would enhance their video game experience and their experience in the real world.